Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the playoff stage of WARNO League Season 3. As we're gonna go into a game that was just played, as the first game was just played, and it's in Division 3. As we're gonna go into Bloody Knight versus Ludy here, as they come in over here. Group stage wise, they both performed pretty solid, obviously, otherwise they wouldn't be here. Ludy didn't drop a single series. Bloody Knight didn't drop a series either. 2 maps dropped for Ludy, 1 map dropped for Bloody Knight. So, and I don't even think, no, Bloody Knight even had a draw there, right? Like it was a, no, it was a 2-2. I dropped the full map against the Helen, but outside of that, really clean performance there as well. So, 2 really high performing player there that we didn't know before the series. Bloody Knight, I mentioned it before, coming in as the final player to sign up for the tournament and really helping me out there. So I'm really happy to see that the tournament worked out so well for Bloody Knight here as well. And we're gonna have a fun one there. And it should be a really, really good series here between Ludy and them. I haven't casted Ludy at all yet, I believe, so I'm really excited to see what we see out of them. And this is all only the one of the tournaments that we have here on WARNO League. And we also have a new April 2v2 tournament coming up, everybody. So if you don't want to miss out on action and you feel like you want to get some 2v2 action in, it's a weekend tournament happening next weekend. We're gonna cover it obviously here as well. And you can just join there into the fun as well if you want to, and just sign up over at playsdl.com and get yourself into the action here. Hey, thanks for the super chat there, Tommy Salty. Thanks for the follow there, Tian, as well. And yeah, thanks, and yeah, thanks for the feedback there as well. Much appreciated. So yeah, April 2v2 tournament coming up, and then on top of all of that, we also have a great prize pool here, and I only can thank you there, say thank you there as well, guys. As since we last casted, we got $100 nearly in here, I believe, and we are now at $306. So that is amazing as well. As we had ZVX Zenster, Yasp, ZX CVster, and Feta here coming in. So yeah, we got $100 in here extra, and are now at $306, smashing our next stretch goal. And that means we only have 2 more stretch goals to go, including one of them being Protoss gets himself a new Cold War uniform to get out and look awesome for you guys. So in for the finals, where we obviously will have some camera action involved as well, and all of that here. So thanks for all of you for the support here, getting us this far. Can find the link to all this down in the description below on YouTube or in the chat right now as well. And you can find the link to this in the chat now on Twitch too. And yeah, with that said, let us get into the action here between Ludy and Bloody Knight. I'm casting alone today, as Chloride has to use the couple of hours that you get in the year in Finland, where it actually might get a bit warm, and has to use the night here. So we are in here in the action. Bloody Knight versus Ludy. First game of the playoffs. I'm really excited for this. As I said, I am really happy that we have Bloody Knight here after the backstory, and I'm also really loving their playstyle that they have shown so far this season. And Ludy, I'm really excited to see what they bring up. 6 US lets me think that they should bring up some fun stuff here as well, so that will be cool, as they come up with TOE2s, they come up with Navy SEALs already, whilst Bloody Knight here with the 27th. In the playoff stage, in the first round here, in the quarterfinals, we are all best of 3s, so 2 wins to win the series. And there's also a slight different rule set. There is no draws here, so if you have the in-game rules saying it's a draw, whoever has the most points still gets the win, And if both players have the exact same points, which happened a couple of times in the history of WARNO and Steel Division leagues, then whoever had the last tick will win. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting here to see how this all goes. Bloody Knight with BRM1 case, and Rajvetkas, Spets Rajvetkas coming around, TADBV actually from the get-go, and a good amount of AA here, because obviously 6 US is good at one thing especially, and that is air spam. Air spam it is really good at. It also obviously has the good Navy SEALs here coming along, airborne dragons. It can grab a good amount of territory with those kind of units. TOW 2 here in the middle, 2 OH helicopters coming up for recon action as well, and I believe there is enough room here for at least 1 or 2 planes. So this should be an exciting, explosive opener here into the playoffs, as the TOW 2 here will go to the center. Map is pretty cool as well, with the lovely map of Kreide, as we have seen a good amount of it in the league so far, but I still don't believe it's fully figured out. Like, obviously everybody knows Boris is important and so on, but there has been a good amount of shenanigans still. There has been a lot of failure on it as well. And it's going to be interesting to see how these two players here approach it, as so far the Boris is being respected by Ludy. Boris is decently respected here by Bloody Knight as well, trying to get some Saperis, some Polomachikis, BMP2 AG, which can be fantastic fire support in there. ZU-23 can be really helpful as fire support on the ground as well. But also a good amount of forces versus center here, with the main force actually there with the TADBV, DAA, BMP3, BMP2, and no forces into Gregory here. Gregory gets left to the Navy SEALs, and that makes sense. You kind of don't want to fight 6 US out there. 6 US also can get air support quickly there and so on. So yeah, keeping Gregory to them is pretty fine, and leaving that free of red units for now. And on the other side, we got a couple more units, so I don't believe it's the heaviest air opener. 1 plane maybe still. Navy SEALs actually being pretty aggressive here together with the LRS. That can be a nice flanking position if you can get some ATGMs in there later. And instead we get some more CVs here onto the battlefield. And a good amount of forces now. 4 good infantry units here, all going into the north. The Fireteam Dragon is helpful. The USAF security can be really good fire support, and this is what we get. The double recon helicopter, Skific, really has brought that back as well. We have seen it a lot in the past. Karma was a big fan of it, and had fallen off for a while. Helicopters got easier to kill. Spotting of very good wasn't amazing for a good while there, and so people didn't use them too much, but very good got buffed lately. And recon helicopters got really back into the meta with that. The helicopters with their great angle really profited the most from those better line of sights. So yeah, OH helicopters here moving around. Actually getting annoying here against the Rajvetka already with the minigun. Can deal some decent damage there. TOW 2 immediately getting in there as well. Trying to throw some stuff around. OH helicopter will got the spot that there's nothing here. That might allow Ludy to maybe even redirect some of these Navy SEALs to actually go deeper or go to Feodor. So that could be a really nice option as well. Whilst we have the scout helicopter versus the Rajvetka in the north, airborne and Navy SEAls there getting involved as well. Ooh, but it's at the OH helicopter down. It's a fine sacrifice there. Got a lot of information. Rajvetka fell as well. TOW 2 in the middle. If that goes down though, that could be problematic here for Ludy. So Ludy has to be careful there, as if you lose this whole town in the middle, getting back in there is pretty problematic as well. Like, people talk about how hard it is to get into this forest in the north, but getting back into this area here is insanely tough as well, as that's a lot of open space that you have to get through there. Same goes if the enemy gets into this forest here. So there are some tough things there as well. Navy SEALs and LRS can push deeper. Navy SEALs over here don't push too deep. A missed opportunity for Ludy here for sure. Whilst this blob of Bloody Knight needs to get through this TOW 2. Should be doable at this stage. The TOW 2 is already damaged, and it's hitting the TADBV instead of focusing the BMP3 or so, which it could one-shot. And that's a problem, as the BMP3 deals a lot of damage and gets the kill there. No, Aito goes down as well. So this is pretty rough. UASAF, security being pushed back, Airborne Dragon being pushed back, and this is a really tough position here for our player in blue here now in the center, as this allows Bloody Knight to take a lot of space. So I would like to see Ludy here now playing more aggressive around Theodore, around Gregory, making the counter pressure to what happens in center. Otherwise, center could just spiral into Anna. The Tow Cobra is a good unit. You have to be careful though, as the Tor is a good anti-helicopter unit as well, and it can one-shot you. Tow Cobra is nowadays only 6 hit points, so a good missile like the Tor's 9M330 here can one-shot you, and that is really, really problematic. If that happens to you, you are in trouble. Tor rolling forward, Motostrelkis and Pulmachikis pushing around. Meanwhile, we have another OA-10A coming in here, and let's see what that can do. Can it get some damage in here into the center? Can it kill the BMP-3s and BMP-2s? And Pulmachikis here getting killed off, so north side is still won by Ludy. Ludy should put more focus on this though. The Navy SEALs being pretty inactive here is not a good idea. OA-10 against the Tors won't work out either, so the center here is in trouble. Resupply for the north though. Being in charge of Boris, that can be nice. Getting some ATGM vehicles through that maybe could be a nice pathway to some success as well. But Bloody Knight funnels into Feodor, funnels into middle. That is a good strategy here for now. Keeping in charge of Feodor means that you can keep the tick rate absolutely in check when Gregory gets captured here. And obviously keeping pressure on Anna, keeping pressure on Dimitri here from the middle is pretty key as well. OA-10 and Brawler coming in at the same time. Brawler gets a missile out, gets a missile on target, one Tor down. Bloody Knight there has to be more careful with the anti-seed micro here in the future. Losing one Tor there can be pretty critical. If the second Tor would have been eaten there as well by the A-10 or so, this could have gone south real quickly, as then the enemy can just buy a plane a tick and you will start to feel the pain. BMP-2AG coming through the north. 3 of them there around. LRS at least gets beaten over here. Oh no, Ludy has to be careful there. Has to get the CV out of there, but I believe the CV is too slow to get out of there. It's only 75 kmh. It's one of the cheap 40-point CVs, and it will get eaten alive here before it can get anywhere to get a point, and tough loss there for Ludy. The Navy SEALs nearly out of AT weapons as well. 84 down to 1 shot. So this whole situation here for Ludy could be better. Navy SEALs still firing. They only use the M60s, but still have so much firepower that they stun down the 0-vet Motostrelkis. That's an interesting choice here in general by Bloody Knight. A lot of units with low veterancy. TADBV with 1, but a good amount of the other units here without any. Tor shooting at the Brawler. Gets a miss here. Brawler harm missiles currently a bit bugged, so they don't really find the Tor too easily. That's an issue. They need a weird angle at which they can fire, otherwise they just don't fire. Tow Cobra here pushing a bit too close to the Tor, and I don't think it can get the kill there with the BMP-2s. No, BMP-2s get the kill. Brawler still tries to find the hit here with its missile, but the Tor gets microed, so the Brawler won't fight anything here. Whilst we have an M48 ACAF here, pushing against the BMP-2s in the middle. Might need to smoke off though, as it's already stunned down pretty badly. The Navy SEALs here can't really do it on their own either. And yeah, the M48 here is in trouble. Brawler finds another kill though. Corsair finds a kill onto the second Tor, so the airplay is open now. 3 Tors down on the ground. That could be disaster for Bloody Knight. But Bloody Knight is winning the ground right now. Navy SEALs here are in trouble. Can't beat the BMP-2s on their own. M48 went down there because it didn't get microed. Air micro was more important. And the BMP-2s here just keeping the M48s at bay. Killing off another one. As, yeah, right, the M48s don't have smoke. I was talking about how he didn't smoke that That's the big issue of theirs. And now the infantry here gets pushed back deeper into the forest. BMP2s giving great fire support. So the planes got the avenue free against all the Tors, but they need now to have a follow-up that actually can deal with the BMP2s, like an A10 or something, to shred all these BMP3s, BMP2s right now. Otherwise, this whole north will fall. You need to have something that actually takes advantage out of this right now. And there is nothing on the battlefield here. Whilst those BMP2s, they are bullying the infantry. Navy SEALs are fantastic if you can get them into spaces where they only fight infantry. But as soon as IFVs start to engage them, you pay a big, big price for them. And that is a massive issue. AO-10A coming in again. It's not the one with AT missiles though. It can kill BMP2s, but it's not as efficient as the ATGM one can be. So yeah, we'll need to use its main gun here. Going for the first BMP3. Let's see what it can do to kill it. Has to turn around again. Didn't spot it fast enough. That is painful. That is extra time that allows the Strelas here to come in. And the Strelas focusing now to stay close to the BMP2s. And they can't be hit by SEAD. You have to kill them with AT planes or with ground units. The AO-10 coming around. Prowler striking in. A10 coming, A7D coming in here with ATGMs as well. They are only the 65Bs, Mavericks, so they don't have the greatest accuracy. And the A10 actually gets pulled back. It still has so much ammo. Why was it pulled back? That should have just kept on shooting here. Prowler can't find anything here. And the A7 is not amazing at its job either. BMP2 AG going down, but the Strelas here now getting involved, getting the Prowler even. That means that we might be able to see the Tors again. Tunguska, yeah, coming in here now. And that is a problem. That is a problem. This air umbrella will be pretty tight around this BMP2 blob. And the BMP2 blob has to go if you want to win this as second UK, as 6 US. I have no idea why I came up to second UK at this moment. But BMP3 goes. That's a nice kill here. You need way more of this though. And there's not enough ATGMs on the battlefield. The infantry has been decimated a decent amount. The Navy SEALs here still holding the ground, but Bloody Knight also is pretty deep into all of this. Yeah, Humvee Toes here have to be real careful. Cobra getting involved. Still a couple of infantry units in here, but no Navy SEALs with this anymore. So the blob's capabilities are reduced. And yeah, the Cobra here, pretty important, but the Strella's already pushing up, and the Strella's keeping such an umbrella around all of this here, and there aren't enough ground forces to breach this for Ludy, and it's hard to get enough. That's the issue of 6 US, that if the enemy gets a blob like this onto the battlefield, breaching that is really, really tough, especially if you lose your reinforcements like that. Harrier HE going with a good HE bombing run, getting good kills, but you will lose every single plane that gets close to these Strela 10 M3s. They are fantastic AA pieces. And they have a long aim time. That's your chance that you maybe can just get out before they aim at you. But they have good ranges, and they have good accuracy. On a decent damage missile as well that can two-shot about everything. And that is a massive, massive issue, as they will keep everything close to them alive. And if you allow 27th to be so concentrated like they are right now, and you can't overstretch them, you can't stretch them thin, you are in trouble. That's why I believe these Navy SEALs here, they should have pushed on deeper. They should have done some real line action. They should have maybe done some sniping on some Strelas that came by, so that the enemy line has to be stretched thinner, that the enemy has to constantly divert small forces here and there, and that you then can pick them off with maybe some ITOs and so on. Like 6 needs to be playing quicker and more agile than this, as against the amazing mechanized blob that 27th gets on, you're otherwise in a tough spot. There are still some good air units in the around here, and we see some AO-10s here coming around now for the south. That's maybe where the planes should have focused now, and where the last couple of planes should have come already as well, to try to get some damage done here, instead of over-focusing on the place where you already struck with the air, where the enemy already knows that you will come with your air. Diverting it elsewhere usually is the better idea. But the AO-10 now goes north, and it gets dangerously close to the Strelas and the Tunguskas. This might go pretty badly. AO10 here gets some shots out, moves to the north though. Ooh, it's just barely out of range, but goes home again. Not using up its gun ammo, and that is a problem. Not using up the VP, the white phosphorus smoke either, that you can use for smoking off the front line as well. But we have the tow cobras here in the rear. Like using the smoke A10 here to set up a smoke screen for these guys could work as well, but we didn't see that here. To maybe push through. Instead, you have to fight against BMP2s in BMP2's favorite ranges again, and that is not healthy either. The dragons get stunned down before they can hit anything. The AG here, an absolute beast against these units as well. This matchup, you have to play more flexible as 6US. In general, not a massive fan of 6US still. I don't think it's a good deck, especially if the enemy knows that it's coming and they can prepare for the air spam and so on. But it for sure is an interesting deck. That's why people here will try to play it, will try to make it work. I'm not sure you can make it work on competitive level currently, as it just still feels a bit too one-dimensional and with a couple too many holds against the classic mechanized blob. And the mechanized blob currently is just king and WARNO. BMP2's here, just shredding it, and it's hard to see Ludy coming back from this here right now. Maybe there's some hope with the air spam, but this is not looking amazing here right now. Tunguska's and Strella's sitting in decent spots here. We see the AGL pushing in Navy SEALs here, still unused. Stingers couldn't really be used either. The ITO tries to get involved. We have more M48 ACAFs. We have more units up here, but there are too few units on the low ground so that Anna is open. Like, if Bloody Knight gets pushed down here, Bloody Knight just will realize that they can just push through the north and still get a take here. And this is going to be a tough one. Light rifles versus ZU-23 here. Getting overwhelmed. Getting shredded. Luskan snipers will get under fire here as well. And MTLBU here coming around to recapture this. Coming around to get the take. Ludy barely gets on a +1 here with the light rifle leaders. They have smoke, so they can hide, but these units should be able to push over all of this. The Navy SEALs got defeated, and the M48 will push forward here into the whole situation. BMP2AG sitting in the rear. Giasin coming around. M48 under fire. BMP2AG getting hit here as well. Light rifles moving around. Spetsred Redga coming in. Ito trying to get involved against the BRM-1K. ACAF here coming around as well. Airborne Dragon and light rifles moving in into the south. Light rifles getting shredded, getting killed off. Ito goes down. Too many blue units here dying, and it's hard to stabilize at this stage, Ludy. It's really hard to stabilize with 6US, the deck that just relies on speed and air, and it doesn't have either here right now. Or not even speed, but just like, yeah, getting the enemy to being a bit overstretched whilst being able to play to your advantage, and that your airstrikes then can come in to allow to take the advantages on the ground that you want, because you took out the most obnoxious enemy units with the air. M48s here being pushed back immediately, don't have smoke, can't do anything here. TADBV bullies them as well. BMP3s and BMP2s here will win this too. Bloody Knight about to go for the Anna point here. Has the +1 back up, and with 33 minutes that would be enough already. But I don't believe Bloody Knight will leave it at that. Can push further on here relatively soon. With the Strelkies here getting hit. And yeah, we have some light rifles here trying to defend themselves, but this is not working out as the BMP3s get the kill. Oh no, the Corsair coming in the north doesn't get the hit. Strelas will aim up. One of them gets a hit. 2 more missiles flying. 2 more missiles hitting, and we get the kill there on the Corsair. Yeah, this is the issue. Like, the air defense of Bloody Knight's division is all short range or mid range. Like, you can have only 3,000 or slightly above 3,000 meter range on everything, so you can't protect the whole front line. But if you only fight on 1/3, 2/3 of the front line, then you actually can protect it all. If the enemy doesn't force you to stretch thinner, then defending against it is pretty easy. And the Corsair and the A10s here, trying to come in, struggling as well. A10 gets hit. Tunguska's and Strelas firing again. A10 goes down. That's exactly what's going to happen, as the damage those planes do is pretty good. Corsair trying to come in for the Tunguska, doesn't even find it, as the A10 didn't spot for it anymore, goes down as well, and that's just something you can't afford at this stage. Losing another Corsair here. And yeah, BMP3 goes down. TOW 2 here trying its best. TOW 2 on the defense, amazing. But you need to get into places where the enemy just can't overrun it. And here the TOW 2s were always caught out on their own, without a protection ring around them, without infantry that the enemy had to chew through before they could get to the 3 hit point TOW 2. So the enemy could just roll on top of them and kill them off. Not quite working out this time around. The TOW 2 actually getting the BMP3 here before it could deal the damage. But Motostrelkis even could run on top here now. So, situation is still not great. Bloody Knight on a +2. And that is an issue. BMP2s and TADBVs here. Set up nicely. Set up shop well around here. BMP3 goes down to the ATGM. So, yeah, you can pick off the tools of the enemy. But not when they are in too much of the combined arms. Even bringing some spruts here to the front line now. And maybe moving them on as AT weapons. TOW 2 here going down to the artillery. Humvee TOWs trying to come around. Those have great TOW 2 missiles. And those can work out nicely. But they will be... They need to get into good positions, and they need to have some screening in front of them as well. Like, that's the issue here with these TOW 2 units. And that's a bit of an issue with 6US, that it is actually quite expensive there as well. And that getting those screening forces is not as cheap as with a packed division that is designed like a light division, like something KDA 157 or so. Like, that can just get some reservists, that can just get some cheap KDA, and then even gets the HGM maybe for cheap. Everything in the American decks often comes with a bit of a premium, and that makes getting those combined arms, even in lighter divisions, a bit harder than in some other decks. They punch a bit harder than other decks as well, but as you can see on the TOW 2 here, decimating the ADBV, but getting the combined arms here around, if you lose units like this, is the tough part. Yeah, going for the Strala 10M here, getting a nice kill there. Humvee TOW actually working out, but now it goes down. Humvee CV trying to come in. Motostrelkis still pushing forward. Humvee TOW going for another kill against another snap, but we still have 4 good AA pieces here, so the planes won't be able to get in and then turn this around. Motostrelkis pushing forward. BMP2s are still around. OA-10 is flying in here in the middle, but as I said, it should have been more stretched out, should have struck where the enemy didn't have air defense. It's always still an issue, even on higher level league play, that people are too hyper focused on where the enemy, where they want to beat the enemy, and don't hunt them around enough with air on the battlefield. And especially against 27th, you have to do that. With other decks that have long range AA, it's a bit harder, but if the enemy shows if you hit the enemy here, you will know that the enemy will bring in AA over there, so hit them in the south next time. And then the enemy will be still soft over there, whilst having invested into AA in the north, so they have bought AA and still lost their units, so you're far ahead at that point then, and then you should be able to beat them on the ground. But yeah, it's easier said than done. Obviously, players don't play with perfect vision like we did. Obviously, Ludy didn't quite see. They would have needed to predict that those Strellas were coming in, but it was a kind of obvious conclusion of what Bloody Knight needed to do. So Ludy always has if you want to air spam well, you need to always think one step ahead, because you are relying on units that don't stay on the battlefield, that only can come around all 3 or 4 minutes. So you have to make the most out of that. So if you don't think ahead, you will fall behind. Fireteam Dragons and US Air Force here doing a decent job, and Ludy in general here doing a decent job at this defense, actually. The Humvee toes here giving Bloody Knight a pretty bad time. Bloody Knight maybe pushing a bit too deep here right now. Maybe should have disengaged there time ago. But without the air units anymore around, this is still hard to recover from Ludy, because those planes are what actually can break through for you here. Like, even if you get rid of most of these units, 2 BMP2s still will keep all your units in check. And that's the massive issue here at this stage. Like, we had a similar game in Division 1, where Air Force for Sotek was the win condition as well with 6 US, and that's usually the case with this deck. Air Force needs to be your win condition. It might not even be the unit that wins the most for you in the game, but it's the one that actually can get you into these places. And without it, you just can't quite get there. And we are at that phase now where Ludy even has some decent defensive units here, and even can trade up maybe even again, but it just can't move forward. And that's a problem. Good kill there on the transports and so on. Bloody Knight trying to force their way in here into a +2 again. Easier said than done, but will get the take for a bit, will get a couple more points, and also is just moving to destroy Dimitri. Could go to Gregory pretty soon as well. Navy SEALs here is still doing a decent job. ZUR 23 though are pretty terrible for them as well, especially on the long ranges where they don't deal any damage. So yeah, even with the reduced hit points here, the ZUR 23 here just doing a job, annihilating another unit. Motostrelkis got wiped out here, but Bloody Knight about to overtake Ludy in points, and at that point, I just don't see how Ludy can come back here. A7D cluster on the Tunguska. Yeah, that's another nice unit. That's another nice unit, but you lost so many of your HE bombers, you lost some OA-10s, and it's tough. It's tough. As the +1 does continue. Navy SEALs are doing a good job. MTLBs though about to come around, and there's no frontline left. Having to invest into more planes, meaning that you have just way less on the ground. MP2 there under fire. Might even hit the Tunguska by accident. Don't think so. We'll just stress it out, I guess. Yeah, no kill there, and the Corsair actually goes down, as Bloody Knight is about to get a +3 here with a CV, securing all of this, whilst Motostrelkis just spread out. BMP3s, hard to penetrate at this stage as well. And we're about to even get to a +3 here with Bloody Knight. And we'll just take really quickly ahead of Ludy, and only a couple seconds here away now from getting the lead, which, as I said, with the rule set in the playoffs, is enough to get them around. It's a best of 3 though, so even if this game goes downhill here for Ludy now, they have a chance in the next 2 games to turn it around potentially. But it will be Bloody Knight on match ball after this one. And thanks there for the follow, Alexei and Coil Split. Yeah, welcome to the channel, everybody. Great to see all of you coming around. And there we go. GGVP is called. And Bloody Knight wins game number 1. Ludy here, KD-wise, yeah. It wasn't all that bad, but 6, you just need to be a bit more decisive. And then you can say, yeah, the IFV playstyle is the easy one and so on, but you picked your choice and you have to go in that playstyle. That playstyle might be a bit harder to figure out, but it's actually not that much harder to play for 6 maybe. But yeah, you have to focus a bit more on that. Otherwise, the game will go down south, and that's exactly what happened here. So, GGVP to Bloody Knight and Ludy here in game 1. We're gonna go into a short break, guys, and then we're gonna be back with game number 2. So here we return. Game number 2. Ludy versus Bloody Knight. Bloody Knight is up 1-0, and Ludy bringing around 5th plane day this time. So a lot more down to earth, whilst Bloody Knight stays with the Soviet Guard divisions, going with the 79th this time around. And on most maps, 5th plane day, I would say, is the better deck for sure. And I still think it has an advantage here still on Vertigo, but I believe Vertigo is the map where it goes a bit more 79th playstyle for sure. With TADBV, IZDs that can go fast around and have ATGMs. The BMP2 is a fantastic IFV here on this map as well. So, this could go down 79th ways nonetheless. Absolutely. The 5th plane day is a fantastic deck. It is not unbeatable. It is not unbeatable. We have seen great plays with 20th Panzerna, for example, against it and so on. And I think 79th on this map is not a bad pick against it either. So, pretty interested to see how that goes. Before we jump in, one more quick shout out, guys. We still have 6 claim code buttons here that you can smash if you haven't smashed it yet, guys. And that it's free money to the prize pool. And that will be paid out to these players in the end. And we are on the way to get these Division 3 players that we watch right now. A bit more of an incentive and a bit more of a reward as well for playing the league outside of just the honor of winning Division 3 and all the fame. Also a $20 prize pool if we make it to 400 euros, US dollars here. So quick, easy smash there to get that in. And yeah, thanks for all of your support, guys. And let's get into the action here again. Ludy versus Bloody Knight. Game number 2. Let's have a look here on what they actually set up with. We have Gazelle Hots coming in. I like that. That's a interesting little play here. Making the deployment a bit more annoying. Making the first couple of reinforcements coming in a bit more annoying as well. Me24P on the other side, though, trying to do exactly the same down the middle. And having a bit more oomph behind all of that. So that's an interesting play as well. It can be really obnoxious for the AMX 10 RCs, as they can't really shoot up. They don't have an autocannon, and if they get killed, they're such a valuable unit. So as soon as you see a Me-24, you just have to dodge it with those. It's a pretty light force here. VAB, Mistral going around, and Ludy actually with a lot of forces here into Dimitri and center. That is an interesting play and a bit of a scary play, because that means if that is realized by Bloody Knight potentially could just smash through the north. Like, that's always the risk if you go this heavily into Dimitri and center. I'm not a big fan. Like, going a bit more heavily into them than the usual player just to make sure that you win them, and maybe even let the enemy pay for going slightly into them, but with too little, and putting up a bit of pressure with it can be nice, but having a weak north is not worth winning Dimitri and center in 90% of the cases usually, unless you play it really well, unless you can swing it up nicely or so. So I'm a bit worried here, as this seems to be a decent amount of forces going here. The Gazelles obviously can swing around, so there is some chance here that it still works out with some moving around. And if there's a bit of investment, but there's only one really defensive Spetsnaz here. Like, most of the forces here for Bloody Knight go through the north. Obviously, Bloody Knight still has to realize what's happening. And with the defensive deployment of the Rezvedka, they might not quite see how much goes here. Like, that's the thing that could still work out for Ludy. But we will see, because if Bloody Knight figures it out, holding Anna will be really tough. And if you lose Anna, the fight from Ivan is pretty obnoxious. But it can work out as well, but then you don't gain any advantage by investing so much into Dimitri and center. So still wouldn't be worth it at this stage. Spetsnaz GRU sitting around here. Rezvedka coming up as well. We have a couple of cubes worried about potential cluster bombers and so on. So that makes sense as well. And then, yeah, Milan's MX-30s, VLRAs with Icklers, 2 Alouette 3s, all pretty nice units as well. So that can work out nicely here too. Here we have a 120mm mortar. Wonder what that is for. Most likely smoke play. So yeah, that can be nice as well there to dodge the Mephistos and so on. Though in the short range, yeah, the MX-30 not great there. The MX-30B2 can be scary as well on the short range. Gazelle Hot going into the north. It's 3 Gazelle Hots actually. And 2 Mirage 3s though. That's even more investment to units that don't stop anything on the ground. And being worried about an air opener of 79th is a interesting take on this. And the issue with Mirage 3 is also it dies one shot to coops. So even diving on this Mi-24 piece here might not work out, again, with the coops being around. The coops get some aims, the coops get some missile outs, and one of the Mirages has to get out home. The second one really doesn't want to fight against these either. So with the double coop, there is no good AA against the Hot 2s, the Gazelle Hots actually. Like, they're not good anti-helicopter AA, so this still could be really annoying for Bloody Knight then as well. Like, there are some interesting things at play here in this game. Gazelle Hot going for the gas, missing it though. Already firing the second missile. Alouette here should get the hell out of there. Gazelle Hot missing everything onto the gas. Pretty bad. Mi-24 goes down. Coops get the Mirage, but that's worth it. Getting the Mi-24P here, that's absolutely worth it. And especially as the Coops now also are nearly out of missiles. Down to 1 missile each, meaning that you will need to get something else against the Gazelle Hots here. So, not the worst there in the end for Ludy. Ludy also getting the capture there. Can now bring the P4 here into the south. Needs reinforcements in the north. Needs reinforcements in the north pretty quickly. There we go with some AMX 13s. With some 20 mils coming around. I would like more tanks. Smoke play already coming out here. And there's no infantry in here yet. There's nothing here to hold us back with Apilas or anything. Like, 1 infantry with Apilas here is what you want. That's what I'm talking about. Like, 1 or 2 units less here. And an infantry unit with Apilas, an ATGM unit here or so. Like, that would have gone a long way. MX-30 moving around. P4 now pushing to the south. Gazelle Hot here should move around a bit as well. T80BV smoking off against the P4 Milan. That's a Milan 2 unit, so kind of makes sense, but still a bit wasteful. Alouette here should check deeper and then help out these guys pushing along. If you can maybe get in here, like there are some plays into the rear here as well that could be pretty gnarly. So, but Ludy instead going into AMX of 1, this is too early. This is really risky play, and this is too early. You can't afford the AMX of 1 when the frontline isn't stable, and the frontline is anything but right now. The AMX 10RC goes down because of this. The Gazelle Hot here not striking from the side. This would be the perfect side shot opportunity. Getting the enemy cut there. But Ludy is already playing the late game. There is not going to be a late game if this happens here, though. And the T80BV is just pushing through. There's nothing here to stop this T80BV. Gazelle Hot is not reacting, and by now there should be Adiglas in the middle. So the Gazelle Hot still could do something, but everything else is dying right now. The Milan unit is out of ammo. There is nothing left here for Ludy. What did Ludy do with the MX of 1? Jaguar AT, that's another really expensive unit that can help out now. But if the Alf 1 would have been a frontline unit, that investment would have been a lot better. Instead, it will get pushed back without having achieved anything on the front line either. Like, the front line here is just non-existent right now for Ludy. This was a really weird take on the French. Like, usually, the good thing about the AMX-1 is that it is a fantastic artillery piece at first, but it's really good in the French deck because you can get that front line covered pretty cheaply quite early on. But you still have to get it covered first. And Ludy just skipped that phase. And that is not a good way of doing this. Really not a good way. Like, not having an infantry unit in here that punishes the enemy from trying to get in with vehicles, especially in the French deck where you have Apilas. Not having the Gazelle, the hot coming in from the side and so on. All of that is pretty painful here. Another Gazelle now getting killed off, and now Ludy feels desperate trying to go for the rear here, but that's not going to work out. And this game might end really quickly. Bloody Knight's deck is just a lot heavier, and it snowballs so hard here now at this stage. The Mephisto would need to get some kills here, but Bloody Knight is doing a really good job with the TADBV, and this is going nowhere. The BRDMs pushing through even. The CV getting a +2 here now. MX of 1 trying to counter battery, but that's not what wins you the game here right now. You need to get some kills on the ground. The Jaguar AT trying to come around, but the Coups keep on being reloaded. Jaguar AT not finding any kills and might even get shut down. Yes, it does. This is going from bad to worse really quickly for Ludy here, as a lot of the units over here got killed off, whilst basically nothing died on Bloody Knight's side here in the north. Ludy is in a world of pain here right now. This might end way faster than expected. Like, I expected a long grind where then the TADBV BMP2 maybe prevails over the MX just by a bit of quality. I didn't expect this breakthrough here. But this is Ludy trying to get the cake and eat it too, and that just doesn't work out. 20 voltageers moving around. Mephisto, super important unit here, but doesn't have a line of sight. There's too many BMP2s around. MX-30B2s come in now, but they're too low in numbers. The efficiency game is not at play anymore because too much efficiency was already lost by losing too many units here at this stage. Iglas and Spetsnaz goes down in the middle, but there's only one Gazelle hot right now. If there would be 2, 3 right now, if you spread them out here, cut off the reinforcements, hit this with air or so, hit this with enough vehicles, yeah, sure, but too few lost. Too few units lost on Bloody Knight's side. Too many bad engagements on the side of Ludy here, and this is an unfortunate game here for Ludy, really. Like, this was not the game plan at all, and this was just not the right setup for this map and this matchup. Like, as a French deck, you can win easily here down in the south anyways. Even at later points, you can set up there way easier than the enemy can, so over-investing like that in the early game is risky. And then also going into support units is just plain out wrong. AMX of 1 here. Yeah, it gets good hits, but everything else is dying. So those hits just don't matter. Even if it gets both of these Grenadier Voltigeurs, that just doesn't matter, and it doesn't even get a single one. Another shot coming out, so one actually goes down, but the AMX of 30 P2s actually go down on the other side, and those are way more valuable than a couple of Nostralki BMPs here. Coop still around, TADBV still around, another TADB coming in, Mephisto trying to get with the kill here from the side. Yeah, it's not like Ludy is playing bad micro or anything. Like, obviously, got into the playoffs here in Division 3. That's not easy, getting a good trade there. But maybe he wasn't quite ready for the just solid plays that Bloody Knight would bring their way. I'm expecting maybe a bit more sloppiness so that you can get away with some more late game focused and just trade focused units like the artillery piece, but yeah, Bloody Knight realizing that there is no front line and just punishing it so hard at this stage. Currently a Voltigier will get shredded. Seed gets a coup here, but yeah, those trades just don't really matter right now. Gets the CV back in here, but there is no French quick AMX-30 ball that actually can threaten the BMP2s and so on. You need to have enough power that you can one-shot BMP2s wherever they plop up with the French. You need to get enough around that you can then later threaten on the T-80BVs with one-shot potential, but single AMX-30 doesn't do that. Whilst your French stuff just explodes so quickly. So that is a massive issue. BRDM goes down, but Gazelle Hot Tier goes down at the same time. Like whenever Ludy gets a kill, it's only a trade. It's never better than that. Whilst when they take losses, they sometimes just lose everything without getting any damage in, and that's obviously not how you win a game of WARNO. So +2 still on, but this should be a +4 quite soon, and could even go up to all the way to a +8 here with some play in the south. Motostrelkis versus Sapeurs. Interesting fight here. Tilly at least snipes that. The MX-01, like, it's such a good unit, but you need some support for it. You need some support in front of it. And that's just what was missing here. BMP2 pushing forward. Sapeurs under fire. Getting killed off. Cluster bomber. Trying to come around. Trying to find the kill of the century here. There is a pretty big concentration of forces. One coup went down. So Cluster Bomber actually could maybe find some value here. Coup number 2 goes down here. Actually, this Cluster Bomber... it doesn't drop its bombs. It doesn't find it. It doesn't spot anything because there is no units here on the front line that actually could see anything. This is painful. Mirage Cluster needs to come around again. We have more Tunguska, more cubes coming up already because Planar just can print that. Everything on the front line is enough to win the game already. You just have to protect that against the airplanes. And the Mirage 5 cluster not getting the bombs dropped off here. Yeah, pretty painful when you don't have recon. You just don't even know where the enemy armor is. Another Jaguar seat here coming around with a single missile. Flying around. That's the Mirage cluster. Trying to come around here now. That's a Samperi Comrade though. MX-30B2 trying to come in. Mirage 5F still not getting the cluster off. Still in a painful situation here. Whilst Smoke keeps the Mephistos isolated. And the other ones have too low frontal armor. Mirage cluster finally getting its clusters dropped off. Will find a BMP2 here. But that's not good enough. Finds the Eagler there as well, but barely matters. And the MX-30 gets hit. VLRA gets hit. MX-30 Brennus most likely gonna get hit here soon as well, and a lot of stuff aims up. Sapeurs goes down. Brennus tries to defend against the T-80BV. That won't work out either. Brennus goes down, and this game is in shambles. No, nothing here spots anything anymore. And there we go. Ludy taps out. Unfortunate games here for Ludy. I really hope we will see Ludy in the next league season. As obviously with a 2-0 victory here, Play Night moves on to the semifinals, and unfortunately Ludy is eliminated. I feel a bit bad for casting these two games because that was obviously not represented for Ludy's season here at all. Coming in with 6 wins out of 8 games into the series, but these 2 games just had the wrong game plan both. Like as I said, the micro wasn't the issue here. It was just 2 times coming with a bit too bold of a playstyle and too bold of a game plan into the series, whilst Play Night was just playing really, really good, basic, old school Soviet classics and just playing them phenomenally here. Like, that was just a really clean game, and that's how you need to play it. So, GGVP here, Play Night, getting the W, and we'll move on to the semifinals, and that brings us to the second playoff game, which is SAS versus I Won the Internet. And yeah, let's see how that goes in Division 3 here. So here we go. Series number 2. I won the internet versus SAS. And they have the matchup here, or SASPA. As we have 4E Division versus 9th Panzer. So pretty cool Norpack matchup here. Interesting matchup for the map as well. And well, if we have a look into how they got here, it's interesting as well. If we don't have it as a okay, mistakes were made. Yeah, they are here in the lower part of the bracket, and I won with a clean sheet here. No losses in the playoff stage. 2 draws, 2 wins. Dropped 2 maps, but no loss there. SAS on the other side, similar thing, but only 1 win here. A lot of draws for SAS, but got through them nonetheless. And yeah, got 1 important win there, putting them above WARNO. And really important game there. Whilst down here, I won draw versus Kamal and Lijek, I believe. So yeah, strong opponents there as well. And that's how they got here. And yeah, if you guys all feel like tournament action, you can sign up for the April Swiss 2v2 tournament over at playsdl.com now. I will copy that for all of you so that you can easily find it. It's a 2v2 tournament being played next week. We're going to cover that as well next weekend on the 12th. It's a 1-day tournament. If you sign up, you will have 6 hours of WARNO in front of you. No matter how it goes, you won't be eliminated. You will play in each round, and you will play against teams that have similar performance, meaning similar skill level as well in the later rounds. So no matter how good you are, we will have some good games there for sure. And yeah, you can chase for the trophy. You can just chase for a good time. It will be a fun and enjoyable time. The last one was really good. Map pool will be voted by the teams, so yeah, it will be down to the players there as well. And yep, it's always a good time. So with that said, let's get back into the action here. I1 versus Saspar, 9 versus 4 Divise. And 4 Divise, obviously, under the lovely gaze of Sotek. No, not Sotek. What am I talking about? I mean, obviously, the finish of Skipik, of our Serbian Wunderkind. Coming around into a really nice Blossom with a lot of playstyle evolving around this division here now. A lot of players playing it. The Cheetahs, Leo 1 opener here, pretty classic. You can opening it up with iHawk Leo 2s, can open up with a lot of MR13s. The iHawks really being the anchor unit now that saves it all. You can even air spam a bit. Like, it's pretty decent for tank division. The only slight issue it has is that it doesn't have any ATGMs on its IFVs, and it doesn't have any cheap ATGMs, so cheaper IFV spam can work out against it, and that's kind of maybe what we see here on the other side, as we see a lot of BMP1s with Conquerors coming in for Saspar. We see a T72 M1 as well, and cost efficiency for sure, 9th thing. It doesn't have the strongest forward deployment though, so it has to be a bit careful in the opener, and we will see if that maybe backfires a bit. The KCT Fair Canners and the MR13s for sure not the weakest opener here, so that could be a bit of an issue, but the main cost-efficient combat force that you can set up quite quickly as 9 could punch through here, and if then your Leos aren't quite in the right spot, and you maybe don't have a Leo 2 yet, or the Leo 2 goes and gets killed off too quickly, then 9 could become a bit of a painful opponent here in this matchup for I1. Yeah, the amount of BMP1P conquerors here is pretty high. That the Fagot one still would be pretty decent in this matchup, as they one-shot the YPR. You don't need the conquerors there to one-shot them, unless unlike other IFVs. with 4 frontal armor. The YPR is only with 2, so 17 pen would have been enough, but that does a lot of damage against the Leo part 1s, and it even does decent damage against the Leo 2s, so having the Conquerors there is not bad still, and yeah, you get a decent amount of them. T72 M1 obviously pretty cost efficient as well, and if you can get them in range against Leo 1s, they eat them up. And if you can get a 2v1 versus a Leo 2, you still should get out decently. So we'll see how that all goes. You for sure get a lot of those T72s as well. So setting up a big blob of them is a viable option as well. But the slightly better flexibility here of the 4th could go a long way. As we have Amor 13s here going for Charlie already. And if you can get Charlie here, you can take the fight here a bit easier. So that could work out. F-16A coming in immediately, as we have the recon helicopters on both sides. Only 1 on I-1 side, 2 on Saspar's side. And the F-16 there is a good unit against it. Only a Strela 10M that won't stop an F-16A. Air superiority fighters on the side of Saspar. Not amazing either, but yeah, none have come around. The F-16A, pretty decent, pretty cost efficient, with 210 points here. Trying to hunt them down. Strela 10M actually gets the hit. Oh my goodness, getting too close to a Strela 10M here and actually getting hit by it. Bit unfortunate for I1, and at least will allow Saspar to get around with 1 MI2 here. That's pretty important. Cheetahs on the other side will block any good helicopter or airplay here, most likely. They are fantastic 35mm autocannons, and they have better accuracy than the normal Gepards. So these things here, with their big guns, they go a long way, whilst protecting the Leo 1s here from harm. First Leo 2A4 on the battlefield, and they have fantastic damage potential here as well. They only have 16 frontal armor, meaning that ATGM planes, for example, could one-jump them. MiG-23ML here coming in from the other side already, actually. Getting involved into the business. But leaving now already again. SPWs sitting around. Aufklärers versus KCT Verkenners. The UATs helping out. Could allow to kill off the KCT here early on. That could be a nice W, but the M113 is coming around as well. And the more important part is what happens between the T-72s, including the T-72 leaders here now, and the Leo 1s and YPRs on the other side. TOW2 is the ATGM that you get here. It's pretty helpful against the T-72s, so not an overkill in this matchup. And a couple of other matchups, fourth issue is also a bit that they only have overkilled ATGMs there. Here they can at least be somewhat helpful. And Cheetos coming in. KCT Verkenners. They have a law, so the SPW has to be somewhat careful. It's also the law A3, so can one-shot some light vehicles. Well, it's the M113 here is trying to go deep, but there is a BMP-1 here actually being on blocking duty. T-72 pushing forward. MI2 getting gunned down. Another T-72 M1 coming in. Another BMP coming in. On the other side, we have more YPRs with TOW2s. And that's good additions. Panzer infantry here getting hit. Out in the open. Trying to disengage again. Can get out there before they get shot another time. Well, it's the BMP-2. Once M113 has to disengage there, YPR getting involved. Loses line of sight though. The KCT Verkenners being spotted. Cheetahs smoking off. KCT's being pushed back, and we have a bit of a push here in the south as well. But SAS wants to get into Saspa here, wants to get into trades relatively early on. BMP 1P pushing around, T-72 pushing around, Trying to find some angles. YPR will go into the northern section here, will go towards Charlie. Saspa actually shutting down the whole north here with a pretty expensive investment with one Watchitson and a BMP1 with Conkers. 2 more units here coming around, though those go closer to the front line. Storm actually being involved as well. That can be nice to hunt down the ATGM vehicles, as it can one-shot them, but it is a bit faster. But not if it gets killed off by a Leopard 1. So, not sure if this is the perfect placement here for it. No, this is actually a terrible placement for it. And trying to fuel a Leo 1 with it, Leo 2 with it is a bad idea. And these don't have smoke. Like, you have to play with them defensively. Otherwise, you will be in trouble. Storm now getting involved. Malyutka P actually coming around here as well. Leo 2, A4 getting microed. And the units down here not achieving much right now. T-72 is currently not involved, and that is a mistake. The T-72s should be constantly involved, basically. Another T-72 coming in. Couple more Storms coming in. Not a big fan of that. One is enough. One can do everything you need to do from a Storm. You don't need 2 more, and they are not aggressive units, as I said. They are pretty slow. They don't have smoke. They can't push there. They don't have an autocannon. They don't have even a mediocre gun like the BMP-1 that can still give some decent fire support. So that is a problem. You know, like, you need units like these here that actually can kill off enemy YPRs, that actually can push back the enemy, and then push through here. And the Storm doesn't help with that. And if you get too many Leo 2A4s against you, this game can become painful quite quickly. Leo 2A4 around. YPR is around as well. Leo 2A4 gets hit by the Storm and the Malyutka. Doesn't get killed off there though. Can smoke off. YPR wins against the BMP-1. And only a red unit died there right now. BMP-1's T-72S coming around. That's an interesting addition as well. Has a similarly strong ATGM for the long-range engagements. Severe actually hitting even harder, but obviously you pay a lot of price for the T-72S as well. And it has a good gun, decent frontal armor as well. So could get into the gunfights here as well. You only get 1 card though, so you can't just keep the high quality up here. The T-72S are really limited. Another Leo 2A4C coming in. That makes 4 Leo 2s already. And that's a pretty scary number, because around that time now they can start to one-shotting your T-72s. Also, your T-72s will still have a tough time here currently with the numbers they have on the battlefield, one-shotting Leo 2A4s. So the position here for the blue side here, not that bad. Saspar has the capture point, but needs to get a couple more trades. BMP-1 goes down. KCT under fire. But more BMPs here just coming forward. Mutchison sitting in there. On the other side, some Montres, some units here for the northern center. Yeah, that makes sense. Stop any shenanigans there. And Saspa is just not getting kills right now. So Leo 2s now can move around. They are faster than the T-72s as well, so they can kind of choose the engagements as well if you don't put real pressure on the enemy. And that is really where the problem lies here. More Malyutkas, that's more defensive, annoying units, but I'm pretty critical of that. Well, M113's on the other side. A couple more infantry units. Not sure the infantry units here are super needed, but I guess if you want to push through the middle soon, then bringing them in now could be interesting. I'm just not sure if that's really what you should aim for here, instead of finalizing this area and maybe setting up a bit more in the north with some decent defenses. But Watchitson getting shot by Leo 2A4. Most likely going to be pushed back here soon. ATGM is fired, but it's It's not going to do any massive harm here. Does maybe even only stun. BMP1's getting involved. Oh no, the Leo 2A4 coming in here, try to deal some damage. Stun around. Pioneers rolling in. Malyutka piece coming up to the front line as well. BMP2 moving up here to the front line. T-72S trying to get the Panzer infantry. Gets the kill. BMP1 damaged here once more. More and more units coming in here for Saspar as well. Getting a couple of kills here now. But the Leo 2 number is the critical one. You need to find a way to kill them. There is potential there for sure still. Like, there are capable forces here. You have a decent amount of T-72s and so on. But you need to find an angle before some of your units get attrition to weight too heavily. T-72M here gets hurt. You have it resupplied. Not using the CV tank here is a misuse of points in my eyes. It should be on the front line, buffing your units even further, getting them better accuracy, getting them better aim time, but currently staying back. Well, it's more BMP2s now actually coming in that have a decent autocannon and they have Conquerors as well. So it's Conquerors all the way. That, as I said, still also doesn't fix the Leo 2 issue, and Leo 2 issue is growing by 1 here. Murchison trying to hold out. T-72M doing his thing. BMP-1P shooting at Panzer Infantry. Pioneers getting involved here as well. Panzer Infantry being pushed back as the Pioneers slowly push on. Panzer and Infantry getting overrun. Going through here, maybe setting up some angles there for T-72 side shots or so. Could be nice. Pioneers only though, bit of a mistake. Having something with AT would be nice right now. Otherwise this YPR just will wipe the floor with all of them. As it is coming in with the fantastic Ehrlichen autocannon. And it is in range. And it will just shred through the forest here. Cleaning house with all these Pioneers. Not a single Murchison there. This is a massive mistake here. This might cost Saspar. This might cost Saspar a hell of a lot. S222 HE coming around. There are cheetahs everywhere though, and those bombers have to get close and are pretty slow, so they're most likely gonna get shredded away by the cheetahs. Well, it's in the rear, more YPRs, tow 2 teams. More 13 over here at least gets taken out, okay. Murchison go down in the center. ATGM not able to kill anything, and the Pioneers just get so heavily demolished. Cheetah is actually the bombing target, but we have Eyehawks on the battlefield as well. S-32 gets the bombs off, will fly over the next Cheetah though, and that Cheetah alone might be able to do the damage here. Just barely not. F-16 not on range, so the S-22 actually did get a successful kill there. Eyehawk gets killed off. That allows maybe some play here. Another bomb kill against one of the Leos now, maybe? MiG-23 in fencing position with the F-16. Getting a kill maybe with some bombs here now. As that kill against the Eyehawk, that was a big one. This might now be able to, if Saspar realized that, Saspar might be in a really good spot here now to get a couple of kills onto Leo 2s and just making this a good bit more painful. Like, killing one Leo 2A4C here right now would get you a decent bit of time and also take a unit from the battlefield that is irreplaceable. The Leo 2A4Bs are a bit easier to replace. The 2A4C with the 18 frontal armor, really hard to kill without any high penetration ATGM, like no Milan 2s or anything. On the side of 9, only 21 damage maximum with the limited missiles that you get with the T-72Ss. So, yeah, Murchison now finally around, but all the Pioneers had been shredded. This was a big mistake by Saspar. And no air follow-up to all of this here right now. That's a bit unfortunate as well, as I think that was an opportunity, but I don't even know if Saspar realized that they killed the Eyehawk. Like, I believe that was just a pick-off on the side, and that they might have believed that this is still alive. And that is obviously a bit of a problem. Motschützen going down, 1 YPR got killed off here. Now Motschützen doing a good job. But here we go, I1 is going for the take now. And the Leo 2A4s are on here in numbers. A good bit more BMP2s coming around. Like a lot more. And that's not terrible. It's not quite playing the matchup here, maybe. Leo 2A4 versus T72. You don't want to take the 1v1s. SPW goes down. And there are no higher numbers of T72s. Another T72S comes around. But not enough gun-based firepower here to just thread through a Leo 2A4. And the ATGMs can be smoked, can be outrun. Like BMP2s just won't get the kills here on any Leo 2A4s unless there is a bit of a mistake. YPR smokes off against the Malyutka here as well. T72S did so too. And yeah, this is the mistake here by Saspa. Not going for kills. Motschützenführer in trouble. Like, there still could be a plane coming around here. AA network hasn't improved. There still could be massive casualties to the plane. Trying to get some runs in. Motschützen against M113 down here. Doesn't work out for the M113. Leo 2A4B being pushed back. CV about to get in again. Well, it's ATGMs here. Flying a bit. Not having too much impact. But with the north captured, I1 doesn't really need that. More BMP2s. I mean, can be helpful against the infantry. Can be helpful against the YPRs. But it struggles against the Leo 2s. And that's the issue. Motschützenführer gets killed by artillery. Motschützen himself losing out as well. S-22 HE not being fully called in. So MiG-23 goes AWOL here. And gets hit up pretty badly for it. Hopefully it doesn't quite go down. No, it doesn't. Motschützen goes down though. And I1 with the +2 here is starting to pull ahead a bit in points now. Yeah, and just smoke play like that, making ATGMs pretty obsolete right now here to a player that has to go to the offense. And that bombing run just does miss. Yeah, a bit too focused on winning points here right now is Saspa, and not quite focused on winning the matchup, and with that winning the fight, and with that winning the game. So yeah, not the best setup in my eyes here for how you can deal with Force Divisio, though, as I said, that one is also in a really, really good spot right now. The iHawk edition arguably put it into at least high tier, if not even the super high and OP tier to some extent, though obviously Skiffix achievements are a lot down to Skiffix capabilities as well, and not just the division. Leo 2A4s getting shot again, but they get the T-72, and now the one that got damaged can just smoke off again. Malyutka goes down, and yeah, that's the issue if you fight against the Leo 2 wall. You need to find a way to kill them, and there is none here right now. Leo 2A4 and getting the storm. BMP1s just falling like flies. Storm under heavy fire. T-72S here coming around. Smoke will be popped by Wando, and that easily and disengaging. Storm coming around. Good stun against the Leos. S-22 cluster on its way in. And the cluster actually does the job. And that's even after 2 new iHawks have come around. Imagine what the airspace could have looked like before that. And BMP2s go down here. That's the big push of Saspar trying to get through, but Leo 2A4s on the defense are pretty scary as well. A lot of BMP2s dying here. F16 on the other side goes at least down as well, but that's not a key player in this game here right now. This push is though, and the T-72 is not liking it either. Might not even spot the Leo 2A. Like that might be an issue here. Leo 2A4 engaging the Mod Schützen. Leo 2A4 getting repaired. Good artillery here. That is all nice. T-72 still getting some shots out here too. Ooh, what does this cluster go for? It doesn't get the drop through. Like stuff like this should have come in earlier. A good bit earlier. Like that, those kills here could have gone a long, long way. But they're still around everywhere. And that's a big problem. Malutka Peace and Storms, as I said, such good defensive tools. But if you're the one that actually has to get the take online, it's a tough one. I Hawk here without ammo. Fired all its missiles off. We have a Leo 2A4B here. Still sitting in this forest. The resupply game by I1 is really solid as well. And here we go. Here comes the air wave now, but yeah, actually both Ihawks out of missile. Su-22. Oh, barely doesn't get the kill there. Oh no. Oh, disaster. Disaster. T-72 actually pushing with the Mod Schützen. With the air situation here, the issue actually somewhat escalates, but still not quite. T-72 trying to get some engagements, but can't really find them. Mod Schützen pushing forward. T-72S is down. And over here we have mortars smoking wildly as well. And there we go. I1 actually losing a drop here now to Saspar. Saspar on a +2. Well, it's BMP2 and BMP1 trying to hit there. More Panzer Infantry. Good bit more. On the other side, we have more ATGMs. BMP2 versus MR13. The BMP2 actually gets killed there before it can finish off the MR13. And loses the Mod Schützen inside as well. That's losses you just can't afford right now at Saspa. Whilst I1 is getting back with a CV in here. T-72 M1 could get under fire. More YPRs coming in, one more BOs. We have an MR10. Where's the Storms? And the T-72 M1 here. Just still desperately try to hold this, but as I said, it was a bit too early to invest into the defensive part of the division, I believe. Which is not bad, but it's not what you need to beat 4th Division, because they just stack up so much better. And Hawk sitting in the rear here. Cluster. Ooh. It does miss. That's unfortunate as well. Especially as it wouldn't even have killed a Leo. But yeah, that would have been already a nice start. Yeah, not killing off the Leos here. Animal protection thing here going on with the Leos just not being able to get taken down. Motostrelkis got decently deep, but I1 is back in. I1 is back in the south as well. Getting another bit of tick online. S22 HE flying around, MiG-23. And then we go around BMP2s, T-72 MKs. all dying trying to go deep here right now. MiG-23 goes down as well. As DA now all reloaded, all set up with so many tanks, so much infantry, and the trades just... they look rough right now for Saspar. SC-22 trying to get through, doesn't get through as the Ihawk just eats it out of the sky, and that's an issue. But that was due to the lost momentum in the early game. And if you lose that, like, yeah, the trades, Saspar still had some good impact here, but it just was a bit cleaner by I1, and the Leo 2s are just then, in the end, impenetrable wall here that you couldn't get through as I1. So, yeah, GGVP, I1 up 1-0. Let's see what the second matchup will be. If I1 is the more flexible deck there once more, or if Saspar maybe can be the one that decides the pace and the speed of the game. Quick break, guys, and then when we jump into second one in this best of 3, and we'll see if I1 can use the match ball. So here we go, game number 2. I1 is up 1-0 in this best of 3, so match ball here for I1 the internet. Saspar still 2 wins away from moving on, and we'll try to do so here on Mount River with first UK versus 79th. But before we jump into deeper, one quick shout out, guys, and thanks for the people who clicked the claim code button there, as we got a bit higher again, and we can't even finish the job here today, guys. Only 4 of you have to go over there to Matcherino, click the claim code button, and then all the free money that Matcherino gives us here for each of these tournaments will be added to the prize pool. So come on, guys, let's finish the job here, and let's get all that money in there. And yeah, thanks to all of you for helping out here. $306 already is great. Let's see if we can push it maybe even a bit further. Maybe even get to the next 2 stretch goals, getting me into a Cold War uniform for the finals. And yep, thanks there for the heckler there for getting the next 25 cents into it. And yep, here we go. SAS Par, Saspar versus I1. 79th here, bringing in T80BV IZDs, bringing in Tungus Gas, BRDM Conkers, all good stuff. But the first UK, currently, I think, might be the best armored division. Outside of maybe the French, but like the best heavier armored division. It has fantastic IFVs. The Warrior Pleak has a fantastic WARNO autocannon. It has decent frontal armor. And it has a Milan 2, which is a fantastic ATGM, and all of that for 60 points. It's the same as a BMP2, and it has a better ATGM. Well, the frontal armor and autocannon wise being pretty much the same. So it's super fast as well, 70 km/h off-road. The Warrior Pleak is just amazing. The Challenger Mark II nowadays is cheaper as well. Got better availability and so on, and is actually in a decent point now too for 220 points. And you have some mid-tier tanks with the chieftains that you can fiddle in there as well, but the top tier with the Mark III is not all that bad either, so this should be an interesting one. So yeah, first UK versus 79th here. 79th obviously BMP2s, not all that bad either, and in the direct matchup it doesn't really matter. They have slightly better range, so that's the one nice advantage over the Milan 2. But yeah, both one-shot each other with the ATGM. But autocannon versus so on matters. But the ATGMs, the Milan 2s hitting hard against the T80 BVs, that's the interesting part. You get some nice solid other infantry with the British as well. But yeah, on the other side here, T80 BV ICD, that's pretty cool. TO55 got buffed lately as well, so that helps out a decent bit. And yeah, the Agona on the fast tank here is quite nice. Good penetration, good frontal armor, and fast is a nice help against the slow British tanks. Like, nearly goes double the speed of the Chieftain off-road. But we have a couple of Gazelle rockets actually here coming around. No real forward deployment use. That's something that First UK gets as well if they want, with Terrier Para. They are not great though, so yeah, they're being left out here. Whilst the Special Forces recon of I1 actually gets into decent places here. Gazelles not being all that aggressive here with their recon, but Saspar wants to get into the middle here with the warriors, and Scout Law 80 getting around there. Meanwhile, I1 wants to get into an interesting spot here in the north that also can then allow you to get into the center point from the north, whilst maybe also threatening the northern point here. Gazelle rockets now coming around, whilst all of this actually being shifted further to the south here. Okay, there is not that much in the south. Saspar could potentially overrun this whole place, but they have to realize that. They have to realize that this is possible to get on here and get the damage done, as the investment here in the north on the other side, as I said, is pretty threatening for the northern point, and obviously can push relatively quickly in the south as well, but currently not moving there yet. TDBV IZD coming in, the Centurion and the Chieftain moving around, Scout slowly pushing forward. Well, the warriors come along here now, have the armored rifle still inside, and didn't go for the center. Interesting choice here. Spartan with Milan 2 and the normal Milan 2. Good combo too. Once we have the warrior now brought in to get the capture in here. I1 not really moving yet up north. Whilst we have a Jaguar HE2 coming along. 500 kilogram bombs, 4 of them. Can do a lot of damage. Though against the Tunguska it might get shredded quite quickly. Whilst warrior Pleek here now, getting the first UATs killed. Gazelle being pushed back by the BMP2. Conquers might find the Scimitar. Yes, finds the Scimitar. Scouts here not having spotted them quite yet. Chieftains and co pushing on. Tunguska actually gets sniped in the north by the Jaguar HE. But TO55 and TADBV IZD still around. And I1 now is pushing up north. So that could be a problem. Conquerors versus the Centurion. Scouts do spot them. Warriors not in a position to deal with them though. And Saspar here now coming up with a bit more pressure in the south. Chieftain could get involved. A Pleek doesn't get the Conquerors. Should smoke off here now. Yeah, that's important. Good job done. Bedford goes down in the north though, and yeah, this most likely will fall. I don't even think it's super worth it for Saspar to invest right now. Saspar should more focus on winning the center and winning the south here instead. As BMP2s and warriors do fight here now, and the recon BMP2 goes down. That's a good kill. The warriors can push on, and yeah, shredding the south here now. That could be a nice win condition here, still for Saspar, so doing that is key. Warriors pushing on. Really not that many units left here for I1, but still a decent amount. Chieftain here could get flanked by a TADBV as well. ATGMs out of the warriors flying out, but the TAD can smoke off and disengage. Chieftain is in range now. Ooh, but the Scimitar blocks it with the smoke. Scouts with Law 80, armored rifles pushing forward. Scimitar pushing slowly forward as well. Chieftain finds the kill there. Scimitar might find a Tunguska. Another expensive unit here. Would be the second Tunguska already down. Chieftain finds the second Tunguska. TADBV now in big danger here. Just kind of needs to get the hell out of there. Firing ATGM against the Chieftain. Chieftain smokes off. As the warriors will try to find the ATGM move here. Oh my goodness! Jaguar. It's only the TO55, but a Moto Strelky there as well. I thought it was the TADBV IZD. Okay, the TADBV does live for now. The warrior should move on here. Start capturing these points. As we have more warrior Pleeks coming in. With the other ones of those should being able to move around here as well. Only 3 tanks. 3 tanks is all that is here for I1 right now in the south. Tornado actually being brought in, killing off some stuff. Might die to the Tunguska here. No, can get out alive for now. But yeah, Jaguar HE here. Already on the hunt. ATGM finds the T-80. The bomber should finish it off now. Oh, it barely doesn't do it. Oh, lucky times here for I1. As the T-80BV IZD does survive with 1 hit point. A Warrior Pleeks pushing forward. Chieftain should push with this now. Like, all of this should just move on with the infantry here now. Really capture as much as possible. Oh no, Warrior Pleeks were pushed into the north. Just died to the T-80BV. Okay, that's a big swing here again. 2 of them just dying without achieving anything. As I said, I think Saspar should just ignore the north right now. Just focus on winning harder in the south. As the Warriors come in here. The MP2 being brought in. Like, this is the pressure that I1 has, but it doesn't really go any deeper there. Tornado goes for the Mi-8, gets the kill there. It's the second Tornado most likely though, as the other one was damaged beforehand, so it's an interesting choice to invest into the double Tornado here. Spetsnaz GRU get pushed in the center. Armored Rifles and Scout with the Law 80s here could really do some damage. As the Warrior starts to get the capture here. Could go just right into the center as well. Though obviously from there could be some push coming in from the north. As it's a heavy T-80BV IZD play here. And they are further disengaging. Scouts set up. The Warrior numbers here. The Warrior plop not strong enough right now to just missile something down. 3 of them still around. This here maybe should move on into the center now as well. Just getting the capture. Whilst the Warrior could go into the center for the tick as well. And get the capture there. Tornado cluster. Coming in for the IZD. The IZD is in the forest. That's not the perfect spot for it. As it is a bit slower there. But it might still be able to survive this. Or 1 hit point again. The extra hit point of the era, the hit point there coming in really clutch. Jaguar now trying to finish it off. Doesn't quite see it though. Tornado just trying to gun down Urals here, stopping them from keeping up the resupply. Chieftains around. MiG-29 AA coming in now. Tornado gets gunned down. Cluster Tornado, that's a big loss. Jaguar HE coming around for the T-80BV, but that won't be a kill most likely. As it actually is. Okay, direct hit with all 4 bombs. This T-80BV just eats it. Okay. The other ones, one is back repaired, full up. The other one still coming up. 2 T-80BVs surviving so low is really painful here for Saspa. If those 2 wouldn't be around, the South would be an easy game. But with those 2 around, it's actually starting to swing in favor of I1 potentially again here, with all the investment into the air, as the ground force is here a bit lacking here. Chieftain being pushed back here, having to disengage again. Warrior Pleek could be pushing forward a bit as well. Scouts and Armored Rifles still holding the line. Motostralki being pushed back. Armored Rifles and Scouts get into the church tower here. Able to deal with the Motostralkis. Warrior Pleek can come around again. Got hit immediately by the T-80 though. So needs to smoke off now immediately. Doesn't want to take another engagement here. The reload time pretty long right now. But the T-80 doesn't get any longer reload times. They are better at fighting in these situations. And 2 more Warrior Pleeks going down. You can't just let them die like that. Jaguar HE coming around for the Tunguska actually, but the Tunguska is good, moving deep enough here that the Jaguar might struggle to find the kill. Yes, doesn't find the kill. MiG-29 is coming around nicely as well. The Tornado AAs, bit misused earlier to just hunt down some helicopters there. Misinvestment there for sure, not worthwhile, as they would have been needed right now for these situations. And the air spam play here of Saspar not working out. Saspar here also with some really scared play now in the rear. That doesn't help the front line. The front line is actually dead now. Like, there is no vehicle on the front line anymore. All these warriors just came in a bit too piecemeal. The planes not doing the job, and I1 actually now being able to push back. I didn't expect that it would be happening, as I1 lost a lot of units here, and if Saspar would have just coordinated the attacks a bit better, everything would have died here for I1. But the TADBVs, with a bit of luck, but also skill on the side of I1 and a couple of slight mistakes by Saspar, able to get through this and now threaten the whole situation for Saspar. His reinforcements are far away, and with the planes being lost like this, it's tough. The cluster plane should have gotten out immediately. Shouldn't have stayed long, especially not with a Tornado AA not in the sky. The Jaguar HE not around, and now the Tornado comes in and might just die out here as well. Ooh, gets a kill there, but MiG-23 gets good damage on the Jaguar. Tornado AA gets out, and the Jaguar goes down. Gets the Tunguska, sure, but that's not worthwhile here. That's not a good trade. Mi-24V comes around. Only infantry here now. The Mi-8 MTA sees it all. Chieftain Mark 11, that doesn't win you against the TADBs. That's not the unit that does it. And only one warrior here now. Recon infantry pushing forward. Mi-24 coming around. Spectra Pierre would need to push up there. Challenger Mark 3, that wins the fights. Has better pen, has better frontal armor. Has 11 hit points as well. So even with the lower rate of fire, it should still do the job. Chieftain Mark 9's coming around. Warrior Pleak coming in. BMP3 2s pushing back the Warrior Pleak. Mi-24 still alive as the Tornado AA went down. A bit unfortunate for Tornado that it lost against the MiG-23. That's for sure, but it went down nonetheless. And the Chieftain Mark 9's here desperately trying to come in. But the armored rifles get heavily damaged there. MiG-23 ML here really doing a solid job. Chieftain Mark 9s. Yeah, that's what you want with your Pleaks. Like, that's where you then can tank the shots for the Pleaks with the Chieftain Mark 9s while the Pleaks shoot their missiles. But the Pleaks all got one-shotted, two-shotted by the TADBVs. And the Chieftains don't deal enough damage there. Like, this is not the combined arms that you want at this stage. And more Pleaks now coming in as a follow-up, but you will run out of them eventually here. And this Challenger matchup, that might work out, but the IZD just can run. Mi-24 still involved here as well. Tractor Pierre not in the position, gets stunned down here by the Mi-24. BMP2 gets involved as well, so that's not the 1v1 matchup that you could win. That's just going south quite quickly. Chieftain Mark 9 having to disengage. The southern side here falls apart as well, and with the north being already in the hands of I1 the Internet, and I1 even being able to maybe pull units out of there, this position is pretty tough. Like, it would need a snipe on one or two T80s here without any major losses from Saspar to really have a chance of turning this around. Like, getting a kill here is so key, but the TADBV IZDs, they are maneuverable. And they can be pretty slippy here without the air support. Like, with air units you can kill them, but only one did go down. Challenger pushed back. Tornado cluster trying to come in here. 23 at least gets pushed back. But yeah, the air fights here, not what Saspar wanted. Cluster bomber coming in. Challenger Mark 3 not in position to win this. And the IZD dodges it for the most part. Tunguska might even get some hits here against the Tornado. Does miss. The Warrior Pleaks come forward again. But all the Chieftains already damaged again. Though so are the TADBVs. But BMP2 is also coming in. Ural already on the front line. More of them coming in. More T80s coming in. Front line is solidifying here for I1. And I1 coming in with the BRDM from the north, having a great Spetsnaz GIU in here as well. The unit's composition is just better for the 79th here. Better for the 79th. It needs a kill or two here now. Needs a kill or two in the next couple of minutes, otherwise this will just snowball out of control. Another warrior plague here just falling. Another one just getting shot by... Yeah, you can't let the warrior plagues be your front line. Like, they are supposed to be your support vehicles. Letting your IFVs brawl with enemy tanks is not the way to victory. That's not what they're priced for. And the warrior plagues here really not being able to use the ATGM sufficiently. Chieftain goes down. Only one warrior plague still standing. Challenger is stunned. And we still have not a single unit dying on the other side here right now. All of them still around. The snowball here is just getting out of hand. It's a bit of lack of focus fire there as well. And the Challenger goes down too. Warrior goes down too. And this is looking really, really grim now. There's not a single unit that died in this whole engagement on the red side. This is just disaster here. This is about it. There is no Air Force here to rescue this situation. There's just nothing on the battlefield anymore to save the situation. Like, at this stage, Red just needs to move forward and win this game. And with that, the series, I1 just needs to move on here to get to the semifinal. That was the last hope, that engagement, and it was just taken completely in the wrong way by Suspa here. Tough one. Director up here goes down as well. Challenger Mark III trying to move forward here, trying to get into position, but yeah, this is not working out. Me-24 VAT trying to get around here from the side, finds a kill against the warrior plague. Good one there. Challenger Mark III rolling onto the battlefield. Trying to come up, but there are more and more tanks coming in here. Coops trying to solidify the front line as well. And +2 still keeps up. Good kill there. V24V goes down. But that's too little too late. BRDM already on the way here. Already on the way to get these 2 points. Get it up to a +6. And then the points will just flow in super quickly. Tornado might get another kill here, as it is the better air superiority fighter. But they were misplaced a couple of times in the past. And yeah, if you try to air spam, you need to do it better. And this map is also terrible for air spam, so don't do it. Don't do it on Mount River. It's the easiest way to set an map to set an AA umbrella on. So air spamming on this map, it always feels so easy because there's a couple of lanes where it feels like, oh yeah, it's so easy to target with air, but it's never worth it. It's a big bait. Like, I believe we have seen like 10, 15 air spams on this map by now, and we maybe have seen 1 win out of those. Maybe 1, maybe 2, but I believe it's really like only like 1 of them that did win. When players started to invest heavily into air, they usually lose on this map. Just don't do it. It's bait. Scimitars coming to the front line. Warrior Plague still chilling out there. Challenger Mark III coming around. Like, P32 finds another success. The push moves on. +5. About to go into a +6. As all the armored rifles here are going down. And yeah, it's just getting more and more red here on the battlefield now. Yes, I1 the internet is playing it slow and steady. Not risking anything. And just getting more W's here, bit by bit, until it's the final big one. PMP2 pushing forward. Armored rifle taking damage. Scimitars about to come around. And armored rifle's really eating it here. Warrior Plagues coming in. Challenger Mark IIIs. slowly moving in there as well, but it's just so little here on the left on the battlefield. Like, all these cool looking British units here don't matter. There's too many of them got burned up here. And yeah, it's two unfortunate airstrikes for sure didn't help. Like leaving the KDBVs on 1 hit points, that's obviously was a big swing here that those didn't die. But the warrior plagues could have been used a lot better to actually make sure that they die as well. And yeah, now CVs will try to rescue the situation, but they will arrive too late. It's the tournament live on the line, so you want to play till the last second here. You don't want to give up. You want to move on. So I get why Suspar is not tapping out of this here, but it's over. There's nothing that can save this situation. Even if Skiffig would take over at this point, this game wouldn't change. BMP2 is coming around. If Lathans would get the hands on here, like they could do nothing either. If you're this far behind, WARNO is just brutal. And it's just a game of numbers at this stage. SU-22 can come around. Like the enemy can diversify so much better. You don't have combined arms anymore. The enemy still does. And they just can get more and more trades even. Like this one on the ground, whilst your tornado doesn't get through, doesn't get the similar job, just gets shut down instead. And yeah, once more, blue just taking the worst trade here. Gets the SU-22, gets the MiG-23 at least, but tornado might pay for it here. Tunguska gets a good hit, pushing it back. Chieftain slowly trying to get in here. 1 minute 38 though. And even if this zone here might get captured, it will only buy a couple of seconds at this stage, as it will reduce it to a +5 and then a +4. Chieftain desperately trying to get in here. The other one trying to go for the center. But there's too much here, way too much here. 4 big tanks, a lot of ATGMs, and there we go. GGVP is called. And I1 will move on to the semifinals with a really interesting game plan here with 79th. Like, it was a risky one. As I said, the South, like, if Saspa would have played had a bit more luck and just played a slight bit cleaner, that game could have completely derailed for I1 and they would have been in a position where you just don't have an out. But Saspa not able to quite keep the pressure going and get the kills, and that did win the game here for I1 and did win the series. And that means that if we have a look here, we have the first 2 semifinals already set up. Semifinalists, that is. 2 more going here in Division 3, and obviously all the other divisions still fresh into the quarterfinals. A lot of games to come there in the next couple of days, and I'm really looking forward to it. Semifinals should be around Easter, and then the finals on the 26th or 27th. So a lot of good stuff coming our way here, guys. With that said, guys, thanks for watching here for today. As we're gonna end it here. And let's see, where can I send you? Let's send you over to another participant of the league as well, who moved on to the playoff stage as well. Let's move you over to the lovely ZX Zvister, as they are playing ranked right now. I don't think it's the league, but it's practice for league for sure. And yeah, have some fun over there. A lot of good stuff there. So see you in the next one, guys. Thanks for all the new followers. Thanks for all the support. And Tommy Salty, thanks for